I know that scaling and expanding your business brings up lots of conversations around systems, outsourcing, and increased revenue. But there's one key ingredient that I feel is often overlooked, and that is your energetic capacity. Your energetic capacity is how much you, your team, and your business can handle without the burnout. In general, there's three areas you must be aware of when it comes to scaling and expanding your business. Let's get this show on the road today, Amy. Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good. I'm sure most of us have hit that energetic capacity low. You feel like you can't make another decision. You feel like your business isn't growing at the rate that you want it to. And you just might not be sure as to what to do next or even why is all of this happening. And so today we're going to really take apart and dissect the energetic capacity of you as the CEO and visionary, the energetic capacity of your team, and also the energetic capacity of your business model. Because when these three things are at their low, you can't soar and you can't grow and scale that business sustainably. And so, Shannon, why don't you go ahead and jump into the first one first about the energetic capacity of you as a CEO, as the visionary?
Yeah. If you didn't catch season 6, episode 1, feel free to go back. We are actually talking about our expand method during this entire season, and the E is for energetic capacity. So as a CEO and a visionary and a leader, you carry a lot of responsibility. We feel like the weight of the world is on our shoulders, right? We've got to make the payroll. We've got to be the inspiring leader. We've got to have our own energy for what we need to do. And your personal energetic capacity also impacts how you think. Are you able to vision the future? Are you able to come up with new ideas and opportunities to solve the problems that you continue to experience in your brand? And so I really want to ask you, do you have time and energy to be a visionary leader? Because I know that in this business and in our clients' businesses, if we are going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing all day long, you never have time to be the visionary. You never have the bandwidth to ask yourself some very important questions like, what new ideas would I like to present to my team to consider? How well are we measuring what's working? And what is working and what's not working? And how can we improve one or two things to get 10x or better results? And this has been my journey as a CEO, as a visionary leader, as the founder of Joyful Business Revolution. The very first thing I protect is my calendar. And Amy can tell you, it gets protected, right? And why? I need time to think. I do my best thinking on a run. She knows if I go for a run, she's probably going to get a good idea that has come out of that time, right? And so as visionary leaders, we cannot shrink our energetic capacity. And as your business grows, we've got to find more ways where you are the visionary. And we're going to talk about that as we move along. Now, there's also a beautiful analogy here or question I want to ask you. Okay, the mistake or the pitfall often in this area is, are you an eagle CEO or are you a goat CEO? Amy, you want to talk about that for a minute?
Goat, not like the greatest of all time goat, the bat goat. And so when we think about the eagle CEO, are you able to really soar above the entire brand? They know what's going on at a very high level in every department and team, but their main focus is on that brand's future vision. They're looking ahead and they're really flying high. But when we get the goat, the but CEOs, we spend a lot of time, with our heads down in the sand, chomping on the grass and the weeds. And we're only able to lift our head once in a while to really see other goats standing around. And the clouds are overpassing and the eagle is flying over our heads, right? And so when you have a moment to consider the clouds and the eagles up there, you get a glimpse of what business could look like, but then you just go back to chomping on the weeds and the grass. And so when you are when you are addressing the energetic capacity from the framework and thought of an eagle as the CEO visionary and not the goat, it's amazing to see the relief of time and energy that comes back.
Absolutely. So we're all about sustainable business growth here. We're all about sustainable expansion and scaling. And your energetic capacity is a huge piece to this. And so we want you to really think forward in a future growth oriented way. And the very first thing we do with our clients when they come into our Joy Fueled Business Growth Program is we look at how are they spending their time.
Yeah.
And, we need time to dream, y'all. If you're a visionary CEO, you need time to dream. Amy left for Hawaii, whatever she was doing over there. She was not working. All right. That's a brand value. And she came back, and today I presented to her Joy Tank. Y'all heard of Shark Tank? Well, Joy Tank is coming to town, right? Joy Tank, we're going to help businesses in need with some upfront funding, right? And I was able to lay that out for her today. But had I been deep in the weeds and been being a goat, there's no way I could have thought through what I wanted to share and why my vision of that was so important.
Yeah.
So let's expand your energetic capacity as a visionary CEO. The next one Amy's going to talk to you about is the energetic capacity of your team.
Yeah. And so, Shannon just said, I just got back from vacation, and time off and time completely away from business is so, so important. And I think as a CEO, we know our team is really our secret weapon. And so their capacity is really crucial to the success of any scaling efforts that you're going to do. And so there's going to be impacts of how fast or slow they move, or how accurate, inaccurate they are, and how bumpy or smooth the journey is. And so one mistake that we're really seeing, though, when we are talking with CEOs who have a team, is they actually don't give the true ownership to your team. And remember, when I described that Eagle CEO, they had a pulse on what the departments and the teams were doing, but they weren't in the weeds chomping on the weeds like the goat is. And so, some of the things that you may need to consider no longer doing is no longer being involved in those team meetings. Let your team lead those meetings. And even ask your team to step up on your quote unquote team meeting. It is important to be meeting as a team, but you don't need to be in all the departmental meetings and everything along those lines. And even ask the team to step up. What we do here at the Joyful Business Revolution is, it was draining for Shannon to come up with a activity that would help us get to know each other better, because we're remote. We've never met each other, sometimes physically in person. And we want to get to know each other more personally. And so instead of Shannon coming up with the ideas every single team meeting, one of us on the team takes advantage of it and really comes up with the idea. And it's been very interesting to see what different ideas we come up with as team members, but then also like what happens with those ideas. Like our graphics designer came up with something and was able to create a beautiful graphic design about our individual um mottos or sayings, and how it actually folds really well into our brand values. um Checking in on project completion, or checking in and asking for project status. If you really empowered your team and giving them true ownership, the door should be open for them to come to you and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I need some help with this. or the team should be really working to figure out these things on their own, right? So, really taking that step back and letting them complete the projects on their own and not asking for updates all the time. And I think the third one really is wearing too many hats in the brand. Like, again, you aren't a new business. You've been around the business block for a while. You don't need to be wearing all the hats. Sure, you had to when you started, but now how can you give those hats to your team, letting them wear them with pride? And, in the last episode, we really did talk about making sure that you are bringing people on the team that have aligned brand values with your business, that have aligned culture values with you, and that really believe in the vision and mission that you're putting out into this world, because that's going to really help them feel like they're making that bigger impact. So we don't want you, the CEO, to be that go-to person all the time. Like, give the ownership to your team and let them run and let them know that when they're doing great things, that also allows you to do great things. And when we all do great things together, that creates that bigger ripple effect that we're all really wanting to make with the impact in our business.
Yeah, I love that. The other thing I'd really say here is, when you're looking at sustainability, a lot of people go wrong in the expansion phase by hiring too much team. I certainly did that early on, and I learned some key lessons there, but one of the things that I really learned is a small and mighty team where everyone is doing their own SOPs. We'll talk about that in another episode, or their own processes, um, is way better than a great big team. Like, the more people on the team, the less simple it gets,
Mhm.
right? And I've had 13 people on my team, and I think we're down to 4.
Yeah.
And it's a well-oiled machine, right? And we love each other and we show up for each other. We have the energetic capacity to do what we need to do. And I trust my team. So we're going to talk more in this season about delegation and team and hiring for team strengths. But for now, I just want you to know the energetic capacity of your team actually matters. And if you're the whole team,
Mhm.
we got to fix that.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm not saying we bring on 4 people, but even just getting a really good virtual assistant in with you is going to help that a lot. Right.
Yeah.
All right. The third place we want to look at energetic capacity is the energetic capacity of your business model. Okay. Now, your business model impacts everything from your sales process to your delivery process. How are you onboarding? How are you marketing yourself? How are you doing lead gen? How are you branding? Are you selling one-time services or products? Do you have a high value offer? What's your client experience like? How do you onboard? How do you offboard? And how do you call them in?
Mm.
There's a lot going on here, right? And so this area really impacts your business model, impacts the number of clients you can take at any one time, the results that your clients can expect based on the level of support they are getting from you, the amount of revenue you can bring in at any
Mm.
one time, right? I used to have a business model where I did one-on-one coaching and consulting. And first, it was not set up for my energetic capacity, but that's where I started. I quickly learned 12 clients a week was the max I could see. I also was not joyful seeing them one-on-one. I'm a teacher, I'm a trainer. But you learn as you go, right, Amy? You learn as you grow. Um, and I also realized I could not take on any more clients. I had a paid wait list waiting for the services, right? The business growth and the marketing services. And it just was not the best business model for me. My revenue capped, my energy tanked, all the things that we're talking about in this season. So, it really helps to have somebody that understands all the different kinds of business models, how we can make them hybrid for you, how we can blend parts of business model A and business model C, and really get you a sustainable business model that flows with your energy and allows you to serve more clients better. Right? Because what I knew is I was saying the same thing 12 times a day.
Yeah.
Seriously. And that could be done in a training with some one-on-one, which was much more leveraged and much more beneficial to our clients, right?
Right. And I think
Um,
one thing that you're saying here, Shannon, is even though you realize you were saying the same things over and over again, and that could be done in a group training, you still valued the one-on-one aspect though that they were getting. And so that's where you came up with the hybrid model, right? But a lot of times what I hear from people is, oh, I need to stop doing one-on-one and go to a membership or a group model, and that's where it's going to save my energy. And I don't know that that's always the case for everyone. It may be that they don't need one-on-one, but I do think that it's not cookie cutter for how to go from one-on-one to one-to-many.
yeah. And I think what's really important here, and we'll probably get into this more as the season goes along, when it comes to expanding and scaling your business, we really want you to think about scaling and expanding parts of the business.
Mhm.
And where a lot of people make mistakes and where they have the pitfalls here is they have this all or none thinking. And it's like, well, I
Right.
can't make any more money one-on-one, so I'll open a membership. Or I can't make any more money doing my group program this way, so I'm going to add this on. And, that is a recipe for disaster. Take it from someone who tried that many times. Okay. So there is a perfect blend for you, for your energy, for your vision, for your revenue, for your business model. We promise. We do this day in and day out. And we are here to serve you, love you, help you, and help you see the blind spots that you can't see on your own. The other big mistake in this area is thinking that keeping your business model the same as it is now, but raising your rates to get you where you want to be in terms of revenue is what's going to work. And I say, spoiler alert, it's not. Okay. Most of you listening here, I would go on to say, are probably not even priced for profit. So do you need a raise in your rates? Absolutely. But
Mm.
keeping the same thing you're doing now and tripling or quadrupling rates, it's going to make the marketing and the client acquisition way harder on the front end. All right.
Mm.
So, we want you to think about your sustainable and future growth oriented business model. We want you to think about your energetic capacity on these three levels. And Amy, I'd love for you to share a story of Shoshana, who came into our program. She was at the bandwidth of
Yeah.
energetic capacity with
Yeah, she was.
one-on-ones.
And even though she was at the bandwidth, like she was still a super happy, joyful person. But there, you could tell, like there was this internal struggle where she was just dying. And she even had brought her husband on to help a little bit with some of the business and such. And so when we really dove in deep with her and we figured out that what was burning her out was the launch. And it was this cycle of marketing, build up, build up, build up, get the people in, and then the people are in. And then she was so stinking tired, she couldn't serve them. And so it took a while to make the shifts and tweaks so that she could be an open everyday model and create the structure that had some group work. And she actually really loved the group work. She knew she enjoyed one-on-one work, but she didn't realize how much she would enjoy group work. And so we really uncovered that she was in the delivery model and in her business model, she was the bottleneck. So, how to unbottleneck that and make it so that she could do some group work, so that she got out of launch mode and was open every day. And then it was really interesting how the messaging started to get clearer because of all of this. And so she was able to finally feel confident and comfortable to actually redo her website because the messaging had gotten to the point. But it was interesting because the business shift and the business model happened first. And so, it was a great journey to see. And, her husband ended up changing into a different role, is no longer in her company. And I think he served an important part for a little while there. And it showed her that she didn't have to be the end all and be all of her business, but she needed to be supported in different ways and she needed to find so she wasn't creating all this marketing launch and then crashing and couldn't deliver to the clients.
Yeah. You can't grow what you don't know, y'all. That's the lesson. You can't grow what you don't know. And
Yeah.
so I really want to help you see where are your current blind spots, right? I developed a tool. It's called the Business Expansion Scorecard. The tool is going to show you what's working now and working well in your business and which part or parts are the bottleneck that need your focus. So you don't burn out trying all the things at one time, because that's not fun, right? So you can determine your business expansion score at joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/scorecard. And fair warning, y'all, spicy Shannon alert. This is not a 3-minute thing. All right. Imagine me sitting with you for 20 minutes and really diving deep with you. Take your time, answer the questions, you'll get your score. And then we would love to meet with you and talk to you about what you discovered. What are your blind spots? Where is it time to put some joy fuel into your process and into these 8 different areas of your business? So we hope that you will download that and you will take that business expansion scorecard. And Amy, what's coming up in our next episode?
Yeah. So next, we're going to be talking about goals, but not just any goals. We're going to be talking about small goals. So you don't want to miss out. We'll see you next time.
Adios, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Grow Your Business for Good podcast with your hosts, Shannon Hernandez and Amy Hager.
Come on over to the joyful side of business and marketing. Go to www.joyfulbusinessrevolution.com and remember our mantra: if it ain't joyful, we ain't doing that shit.
If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this show, leave a review, and spread the good news with other coaches and consultants.
Adios.